Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom. This is episode 12 of Screw the Commute. Now make sure you listen to episode 11. We had a great show with the prolific John Kramer, author of 1001 Ways to Market Your Books and How to Make Money with Pinterest. Every product I have has John's influence in it. You don't want to miss that. That's episode 11. Now, a brief mention of our sponsor, kickstartcart.com. It's the extremely powerful shopping cart system that powers all my internet sales from multiple websites, has autoresponders, broadcast email, upselling, affiliate program, coupons, and a lot more all in one place. And you don't have to have an IT staff to operate it. That's kickstartcart.com. You'll see it in the show notes. Plus, we give you free unlimited one-on-one tutoring to teach you how to use it. Now let's get to the main event. We got another hard-working couple with us. Robert and Sheryl Rudelick are co-owners of Impax Therapy, that's IMPAX, an innovative sports medicine and personal coaching practice in San Francisco. They bring together their combined talents. Robert's 30 years of changing people's lives on a physical, emotional, and professional level, and Sheryl's extensive business experience as an entrepreneur specializing in business development and operations. Hey, bring it on, you little lovebirds.
Hi, Tom.
Tom, how are you today?
What's going on over there in San Fran?
Well, we just got back from a nice little vacation, and we're all ready to do this and then roll into our new week.
Well, I have one big question for you two. Are you ready to screw the commute? That is.
Heck yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
We've been ready for 2 years.
Oh, I don't know. You don't sound like you're ready to screw. I want some excitement over there.
No, absolutely.
So tell everybody a little bit about what you two do.
Well, I'm an integrative sports therapist and a peak performance coach. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I really change people's lives through getting them to take a look at their physical, their mental, and then also their professional, the way that they present themselves. And I teach them the tools of being invincible, or the invincible mindset. And by doing this, I mean, I've worked with professional Olympic athletes to some of the top CEOs in the world, and then families, moms, kids, people with test anxiety. So that's what we do. And then Sheryl runs everything.
I often get asked sometimes what I do, and I guess my best answer is I do everything that everybody else doesn't want to do.
That's how you're successful.
I do all the back end stuff. That's basically what I do.
All right, so back up a minute there, Robert, and tell me, what does integrative mean? You used that in your description.
Well, so when somebody comes to me, they present with an issue. And it's never a single issue that is keeping them from being their best in whatever way they want to be their change. And so I take a look at physically. Are you eating well? Are you exercising? Do you have the mental awareness of what you're trying to get done? The mental parts are, what are your goals? What's inspiring you? What are the tools that you use to keep yourself composed and focused? And then professionally, it's like, okay, let's take a look situationally at what's going on, and let's teach you some skills that can help you to perform better in the workplace and also in relationships.
Beautiful. Now, did either one of you ever have a job?
Not really. I had a job as a hostess in a restaurant when I was, young, but I've been an entrepreneur my entire life.
Tom, I've had a job for the last 30 years, and I'm so sick and tired of it, I can't stand myself. I love what I do, but I'm doing it one-on-one. And, you work 12-hour days, 5 days a week, and then you go to work doing something else. It's like, I'm done. I'm so ready to screw the commute and take this big time now.
All right, so Robert, you're still in your job, but you've been working with me, and Sheryl's been working with me to transition you out of your job. And this is the way we suggest, because it's ridiculous to just drop everything and your income goes to nothing and then start a new business. It's good to plan for this. So that's basically what you've been doing, right?
Absolutely. We put our product together. I mean, we've been at this for a couple of years now, Tom. When we met you, it was after an unfortunate incident, and fortunately led us to you. So, but yeah, I've been, I work my 5 12-hour days, and then I come home, and on weekends, we've given up our weekends for the past 2 years to create our product and do all the video and audio, and every hat you can think of, we've worn it.
So what would you say to somebody else that's sitting there in a cubicle somewhere and thinking, man, I'd like to be in my own business too? What advice would you give them?
Be very clear about what it is that you want to accomplish. And then before you get going, one of the things I have found, Tom, and it's almost across the board, people think that they can go from a job to being an entrepreneur just like that. And it takes a different emotional skill set, and they have to have the tools to handle the disappointment, to handle the self-doubt, to handle the stress of it. And if they don't have those tools, inevitably they fail.
You mean they're not going to get rich overnight just by opening their own business?
No, and I swear, every time I turn Facebook on, the 10 people tell me that's all it's needed.
Exactly.
Just follow their program.
So give us some tips about working together as a couple.
Well, I guess I could give a few tips about that. I think one of the hardest things for me working together sometimes with Robert is, in order for me to move forward with what I need to do, I need his input. I need him to do something for me, or to give me some information, or correct something, or look at something, all that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes he's just not in the mood for it. He's extremely tired. Sometimes he can be very grouchy because he's been working God only knows how many hours that day, and he's just burned out. And so that's frustrating. And I have to step back, and I have to understand that and have empathy for the fact that, yes, I need this done, but I may have to wait until in the morning to get what I need and just leave it alone, move on.
I see.
I think a really good tip, Tom, that I give often to people that are transitioning is, number one, you're going to wear a lot of hats. In fact, you'll probably wear all of the hats at least once, whether it's initially or as you progress. And those hats need to be clearly defined. And then between her and I, we have pretty much defined, you're going to wear those hats, I'm going to wear these hats, I'm going to stay out of your road, and you're going to stay out of mine. And when we need to come together, we do so acknowledging the fact that we each have our own concerns, and we think they're the most important concerns for the project to move forward. And that takes a little time to kind of get used to the give and the go back and forth.
We've been working together for 21 years.
Oh, wow.
We've kind of learned to give and take a bit and move forward sometimes when things are just a little bit uneven.
Yeah, but this transition, Tom, the transition that we're going through right now with you, going to a digital online marketing business format and not a one-on-one coaching program, that's been really tough. It's been tough for me, and she has really helped me along emotionally because I'm giving up something that I am an expert at, and I'm doing something that I'm not an expert at any longer. And sometimes it's really hard for me to kind of go, I just can't seem to do it where I can do what I do normally, falling out of bed, and people are going, that is amazing. So she really does a lot to keep me focused.
Great. It's teamwork, basically. So do you have a certain place set up at the house? How does your office in the house work? Do you work in one place? Do you get dressed up like you're going to work? How does that work?
We have a really beautiful loft here in San Francisco. So I've taken one section of it, and I've created an audio video area where I shoot all the videos and we do all the audios. And then Cheryl's got her office all set up upstairs where she's got her brain center and her computers and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much how we set this up. We're in the process of starting to look for a bigger place where we can actually set up a dedicated room for the audio video and doing things like that, and then starting to move out from there.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you ever gotten screwed in business?
Yeah, take that one, Cheryl.
Tom, I think you've heard this story.
Yeah, but the listeners haven't.
I know. We unfortunately got involved with somebody that we thought was going to be able to help us do what we wanted to do. And unfortunately, he just basically took our money. He didn't give us hardly anything over the 8-9 months we actually worked with him. And in the end, he actually didn't even give our product back.
Now this guy oversold and underperformed to the point where it should be, this should be used as the example for somebody like this. And we went through this whole process. He strung us along. We started out, we had the money for this whole project, and now we're working on a shoestring, trying to get the whole thing done. And eventually we figured out that he wasn't going to do what he said he was going to do. And then when he started getting kind of real weird about things, we realized, oh my God, we got to get our things back from him. And he got just almost, he's a sociopath, classic sociopath. I've worked with people who've married them, who have them in business. And fortunately, something really crazy happened, but Cheryl, this is for another time. But anyways, yes, we have, Tom, and we have recovered.
Oh, that's good.
That's a big part of this, Tom. People don't have and need to develop emotional resilience.
Well, it's very, very hard when something like that happens. We're not the type of people that would ever do anything like that to somebody. And then when somebody does that to us, it's almost like it's hard to actually wrap your head around that somebody has actually done that, because he said he would give our assets back, which he had in his control. He had all our video, all of our audio, and all of our workbooks. And it was a very unusual and wonderful thing that happened, because we were actually in a place where we didn't even know where we were going to go, because we had spent so much time and spent so much of our money and everything else putting that whole project together, and then to not be able to even have it. And then one night I was talking to my brother on the phone, and Robert started yelling at me. He was yelling and yelling, like, get off the phone. I got to talk to get off the phone. What had happened, and it was the most unusual thing ever. And we still, to this day, Tom, to this day, we cannot figure out how this happened. But every single bit of the raw footage that we had created was on my laptop computer. And we don't ever recall putting it there, putting it through an external process, nothing. I mean, it was, oh my God, this is just unbelievable. Everything that we had done was on my laptop.
Well, in essence, that led me to, I want to make sure that I wasn't disparaging this guy. And because Cheryl's always telling me, it's like, there's a difference between something not working out and getting screwed. And I needed to know. So we set this guy up. It's like we did this whole thing with his wife and just set him up. And when he said, screw you, I'm not giving you anything back and never call me again, we realized he was a sociopath and that he did this deliberately. And it wasn't just like he couldn't do it anymore, blah, blah, blah. So
to this day, it's just a mystery as to why somebody would do something like that.
Yeah, I get it, but it's a good lesson for you.
You can't believe the lessons that we learned. We now have external hard drives. We now have Dropbox. We have so many backups that we're backing up our backups just in case the backups don't work.
Exactly. That's what you got to do. So anything funny happened to either one of you in business?
Oh boy, I've had a ton of stuff, Tom. I'll tell you what, even doing what we're doing with the Invincible Mindset training, a lot of it came from me working with professional football players and really helping them to perform at their best. And then in my other part of my business, I would go to work with families, and all of a sudden I was helping the kids with test anxiety, and the moms with performance anxiety and guilt, and the dads with trying to balance family and all these things. One day I was working and I got a phone call from a guy. His name's Bill Romanowski. And he said that through one of my mentors, I need to work with you. So I came to his place. He said, let's meet at the Raiders training facility. I went there, spent 4.5 hours. And he goes, okay, here's the thing. I want you 3 days a week. I got 5 other guys. You're basically going to move in here. And that was the start of a 15-year-long career working with the NFL and professional athletes. And it all happened like out of nowhere. And that also launched me into a whole coaching career working with families in the area of the East Bay Hills.
Well, you showed up. That's the thing. You were there. You said yes, basically, to opportunity, and there it presented itself. So what do you think you like best about working for yourself, and what's the worst part about working for yourself?
Well, the best part of working for yourself, I think, is being able to manage your own time, being able to manage your schedule if you really want to take a few days off, you want to go someplace and do something. But most of all, more than anything else, is the opportunity to really do well financially. If you're working for somebody else, working a job or whatever, there's a limit to what you're ever going to make, and you can put as much time and hours into working for somebody, but you're only going to make X. When you're working for yourself and you do it right, and you team up with the right people, such as yourself, we have the opportunity to expand into an unlimited amount of money. And that is, for me, that's the goal.
So what's the worst part about it?
It just seems like working a lot, really not ever really getting away from it. I never get away from it. I never get away from thinking about it, looking for the future, okay, if I do this, I laid the foundation for this, I got to lay it right, because in the future I might be doing this, so I've got to be able to expand into that and know I've got the foundation. It's just it takes a lot of emotional composure to not only live your life and have fun and, be a person in the world, but yet continually move forward with this.
And Sheryl and I are quite different in that respect. For me, it's the financial instability, the not knowing week to week, month to month, if I'm going to have enough money, with it being in practice like I have been, it's pretty predictable. Now we're going into this whole new thing, and it's really, I'll tell you what, it's been really hard for me. I grew up, I had a very, very, very nice life growing up, and so I'm used to really the good life. And the past couple of years have been a real struggle for us, because if I don't work, we are very encumbered. We have a beautiful place in Tahoe, we have a beautiful loft in San Francisco, and we have a ton of debt. If I'm going to make enough, it's kind of crazy.
That's going to turn around for you, I predict, because once you get these pieces of intellectual property out there working for you, like the membership site, and we're actually going to get in that in a moment, the things you're promoting, the income will stabilize, and then you'll be able to get big bursts every time you come out with a new product. But go ahead and tell us about the thing you're working on, what you're promoting, and what's coming up here shortly for you too.
Well, we've been developing a project called the Invincible Divorcee. And this came out of my practice, where I was working with all these post-divorce women who were coming to me because of pain. And what I quickly realized was that their pain was due to the emotional trauma that happened from their divorce. And they came out as, I use this term, but it's true, bitter, angry man-haters. And even I've had so many of their friends tell me and tell them, you need to go see this guy. So the Invincible Divorcee came of it when I said, geez, I wish I would have known you while you were going through your divorce, because you could have eliminated all of this sadness and all of this grief and all the depression and all that while you're going through your divorce. And so we created a whole project around this, which is really part of a bigger umbrella of my Invincible Mindset training. I teach them the tools that they need to be able to handle the stress and all the BS that happens in a divorce, and how to really stay focused. And then secondarily, we basically take them through a process where they develop a short-term plan and a long-term plan. They start to execute. They start to find things that are going to inspire them. They're going to start to create the daily habits that are necessary physically so that they can endure being single again and being a single mom and doing all the things that they need to do. And when I see these women going through this and the changes, and the changes happen quickly, Tom. The kind of my work is really developed into something it's high impact in a very short amount of time, because see, that's what my athletes and that's what the CEOs and people like that, they need to have a result yesterday. And so all the things that I teach people all have a high impact in a very short amount of time. And then we give them that process to develop into the future. And that's what the membership's going to be about. It's going to be physical stuff. It's going to be about the diet, exercise. It's going to be about stress relief. It's going to be about strategy. Okay, it's going to be about setting up the kind of social circle that's drama-free, but that you really know that no matter what happens, I've got somebody that I can count on in my life.
What I love is some of those stories about in the lawyer's office when the lawyer and the husband are going to dump on the lady and she's ready for him and they don't know what hit them.
Oh, Tom, I tell you, there are some fantastic stories. And you know what's really interesting? I get the lawyers now who'll give me something like, Robert, Can you? She's addicted to the drama. Can you do something about that?
Yeah, you've gotten a lot of clients
a
couple of your lawyers.
My lawyers, and you know what? When I tell them yes, they're like, no, you don't understand this one. And I can change that very quickly. And they go into mediation, and the lawyers are scratching their heads, going, wait a minute, where are you going? And they excuse themselves, they go to the restroom, they compose themselves, they come back, and then the one I told you about, the husband all of a sudden looked at her and realized, oh no, we're not getting her anymore, and decided just to give her what she wanted and to let it go. Because he knew that he knew the jig was up, and she could recompose herself that quickly.
I love that. Well, we got to take a little break for a sponsor. So when we come back, we will have Robert and Sheryl tell us what a regular day is like for them and how they stay motivated. But I want to tell you about when I first started selling online in 1994. Every single thing you did was built by different companies. My shopping cart cost $2,000 up front and would only work on one website. And honestly, it barely would work at all. Right? Later, I paid $1,100 for an affiliate program, and 6 months later, the shopping cart company and the affiliate program company were still blaming each other when it wouldn't work, and I was left holding the bag. Well, that problem is all gone with Kickstart Cart. Everything you need is integrated and designed to work together. If anything does go wrong, which is rarely, it's one call to one company who knows how to fix it. And we give you free one-on-one tutoring to get it going or to help you replace your old cart. That's kickstartcart.com, and you'll find that in the show notes. So let's get back to the little lovebirds here. And what's a typical day like for you?
Well, I get up at 5. I go work out because I'm worthless in the morning without it. Sheryl gets up at 5, and she's immediately researching. She's going over the website. She's communicating with our technical guy about changes that need to be made and what are we going to be doing. And by the time I get home at 7, I have breakfast. We have a meeting. She tells me what's going on. She tells me what I need to be thinking about. And then I start my clients at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm pretty much not done until 8 o'clock at night. And during that period of time, Sheryl is doing everything else. Go ahead.
Well, my day is, he pretty much described it. When we see clients here at our loft, I'm obviously working with them, also booking their next appointment, their pay, whatever. So I'm busy in and out doing that. And then in the meantime, I'm working with Tony, our tech guy, trying to get everything going, doing research, getting product ready for Tony. I mean, it's like, it seems like it doesn't end.
She does everything, Tom. It's amazing.
Yeah, you're lucky to have her, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. Every morning when I come home from the gym, I do a gratitude exercise, and she's the first one I'm grateful for.
I don't blame you. That's a great thing. You've been doing this, what'd you say, 21 years?
21 years.
Together, yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. Now, how do you stay motivated?
For myself, I stay motivated by the thought that I'm eventually going to be able to affect thousands and tens of thousands of people, not just one-on-one any longer.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't give up. I mean, I stay in the moment all the time. It's like, I absolutely will not take no for an answer, and I won't give up. So I'm just built that way, I guess. I just won't stop.
And you've been that way your whole life?
I have been that way my whole life. I just really kind of, ever since I was a young kid, I was always motivated from.
You know, we have our down days. Sometimes she's down, sometimes I'm down. We always pick each other up, and then the times when we're both down, we basically put everything down and we go out for a walk, or we'll go to our place in Tahoe and clear our minds or do something. We've worked out pretty good communications around that. It really does. It takes a joint effort because it can be pretty daunting sometimes.
Well, it also took us a while to really get used to each other, because when we first got together, we're both Aries.
We're both alphas.
And we're both alphas. I've had my own business my whole life, just a strong, independent person. And it was a little challenge for us to kind of get in the groove, to be able to work with each other, understand each other, figure out, where each other was coming from, to where we could kind of get on the path to get something going here.
How many years did that take?
Yeah, no, we could get on and on and on about something specific, and we both dig in, and then we would figure out. I mean, my daughter was staying with us at one point, and we got into it one time, and she almost was cringing. She comes up later. She goes, "Dad, hi, are you guys okay?" We're like, "Oh yeah." She goes, it's crazy. All of a sudden you were yelling and screaming and then you're kissing on her and pinching her butt. And I'm going, right. She goes, I don't get it. And I go, no. We fight really hard for what we believe in. We find a compromise, and then we actually take action.
And that means taking action is pinching her butt? Is that what it is?
No, that breaks the tension.
That happened to me in college one time. I went to this Italian girl's house, and everybody is screaming. I'm like, they're screaming, and they're throwing bread. And I mean, I'm like, I'm very nervous. And she's like, what's wrong? It's like an everyday occurrence. It was like that big fat Greek wedding movie from a while back.
It's true.
So do you have any parting thoughts for all our screwballs that will be listening to this?
Sure.
Well, I think the most important thing is to believe in yourself and to believe in what you're doing. Don't always take everybody's word for you can't do it, or you don't have enough, or you're not good enough, you don't know enough,
or you have to do it this way.
Yes, it's believe in yourself. Obviously, it's very, very important to team up with people that know what they're doing and can help and direct you. But if you have something that you believe in, stay believing in it and make it happen.
And for me, I think the biggest thing is continuously focus on developing yourself. I mean, being an entrepreneur is really developed a product, but you're developing yourself because it's much more difficult to be an entrepreneur, but it's also way more rewarding because everything you do, you get an immediate feedback on it. And that feedback, you determine whether you're going in the right direction or the wrong direction, and you make slight little adjustments. And every time you make one of those adjustments, it's like, yes, it worked. And that continuously motivates you and continuously inspires me. And that's really what I have guided other people to do the same thing. It's like, work on yourself, be able to be more composed, really get confident and speak with clarity. Those are really important things.
Beautiful advice. So how do people reach you if they want more information and want to check? And we'll have all this in the show notes for them too, so they can check out your different programs and so forth. But what's the best way to reach you?
Well, the best way to reach us is robertrudelic.com, and that's R. Robert, and this last name is spelled RUDELIC.com, robertrudelic.com. And then our other project, which is a separate site, is invincibleddivorcee.com.
Now, can you help guys too, or is it only for women?
Well, in that particular website, it's just for women only, but the other site is for everybody.
Yeah, we'll have that all in the show notes, and I want to thank you both for taking time out to help our screwballs out, and it's wonderful to see couples working together. 21 years, wow, that's amazing. I really applaud you both, and can't wait to see all your programs make you a lot of money, so Robert can come down out of that loft in one piece. So,
we're looking forward to that too.
Yep. So. Thanks, everybody, for checking in. This was episode 12, and you check the show notes for all the information on the wonderful programs the Rudelicks have. They have other ones other than that divorce program that very interesting. You might want to check it out. Check out kickstartcart.com. If you need a shopping cart or you want to get rid of your old one, we give unlimited one-on-one tutoring to help you make the transition and to teach you how to use it, then we'll always be there for you. So we'll check you on the next episode of Screw the Commute.